Hey there folks, and welcome to Truck King. Today is exciting because we are finally hands-on with this, the brand new Chevrolet Silverado EV, in this case, the RST First Edition. Now I can't tell you yet how this truck drives. We're going to drop a full review later in the week, so make sure you come back for that when I can go on the road, tow a trailer, and actually talk about performance. In this video, we're simply going to do a walk around and look at all the features that Chevy has built into this truck, because there are quite a few and some of them are pretty exciting. So let's jump into it. First of all, right up front, you're going to notice, yeah, this doesn't look like a standard Silverado. In fact, I feel like it borrows more from the Camaro than it does from the Silverado family. Styling, obviously totally subjective, so why don't you just jump in the comments now right off the top and let me know, what do you think about the way this truck looks? To my eyes, it looks pretty good, but I also think it's gonna be polarizing. I think a lot of people might love it, a lot might hate it, so go down there and weigh in. Now, we're right up here on the nose, so let's start with the feature that's up front. That is right here. If it wants to open for me. There it goes. So this is what Chevrolet calls the E-trunk. I think it's a kind of a silly name. Let's just call it a trunk. That's what it is. I don't know what makes it an E-trunk. But anyways, you're getting this massive trunk space at the front of your Silverado EV. A lot of EVs are utilizing this space for more storage. Makes total sense. I like that you are getting D-rings down in the floor so you can actually tie things down. You do get a plug over here, max at 2.4 kilowatts, so you do have power up front as well. Again, nothing new in the EV truck space, but Chevy is right there with all the other brands offering that trunk right up front. And the button is really nicely hidden away down here in the grill. Hit that, and it closes up. Now you can also control that from a button inside the cab, and there's a button on your key fob, so as you walk up to the truck, you can grab your key fob and open up your E-trunk or front trunk. So next thing we're gonna talk about is right down here. That is a set of standard, on the first edition, 24-inch wheels. Yes, 24s are standard on this truck. I don't actually think they look massive here just because the truck itself is so big. So they actually kind of work really well. They fill out that wheel well. They're nice looking wheels. I think the downside again is maybe weight and then tire availability. So we'll have to sort of wait and see how those two things sort of affect it. But just from a visual standpoint, and designers always love big wheels, I do think they look good. And now another thing I want you to pay attention to down here, 8-lug hubs. Yes, this thing has 8-lug hubs like a heavy-duty truck, because by GVWR classification, this is a heavy-duty truck. The GVWR can go actually right up to just below 10,000 pounds, which makes it, on paper, a 3/4 ton truck, which is one of the reasons why you're getting those 8-lug hubs, because it just weighs so much. Curb weight on this truck as it sits is around 8,600 pounds. So if the truck weighs 86 and you want a decent payload rating, you got to get your GVWR up there. Speaking of payload, let's take a look at what it is. And this is actually funny. On the paperwork, they list the payload at max 1,500 pounds, but this truck actually exceeds that by just a little bit. This one has a payload of 1,547 pounds. That's a good number for a truck of this size. Again, the GVWR had to compensate to make sure you could get that payload, but in the real world, those things don't actually matter. You just want to know how much you can haul, and 1,500 pounds, yeah, that's a solid number. So as we roll back, you'll see we do get a fixed step down here below. I should say now, this is the only configuration you're getting of Silverado EV. There's no different cabs, there's no different bed lengths. This is the truck, and this is exactly as it's always going to be. And you'll notice, you know, the lack of a separation between cab and bed, because this is also basically a unibody vehicle. It is built on the Ultium platform that has the batteries down there in the floor, but when it comes to the actual body, yeah, there is no separation here. It's all one solid piece. And then this sort of design here, kind of, I call it the flying buttress. It really kind of calls back to the Avalanche a little bit, right? A truck from Chevy's past that has, you know, a lot of a cult following, if you want to say that. So I do like that kind of callback back to the Avalanche. So getting back here to the bed, as it sits right here, the bed length, the floor length is 5'11", which again is actually a little bit longer than most short bed pickups that we get these days. Would it be nicer to get a longer bed? Yes, but Chevy has installed that trick Midgate, which allows that back wall to fold down. I'm gonna demo that for you totally shortly, so make sure you stay tuned to see how the Midgate works. But once the Midgate is down, you then also drop your multi-flex tailgate, you put up your load stopper, and from load stop back here to load stop up there, you're getting 10 feet, 10 inches of floor space. So yes, you lose your back seats, that's important to mention, but it is still cool that you can get up to 10 foot 10 with this truck. And yeah, it's a multi-flex tailgate, nothing new here. They did change the button configuration. They're no longer stacked on top of each other, they're beside each other now, so just a small difference. But if you just want to open that little tailgate, you can still do that too. Use it as a workstation, use it as a load stop, and then when you put the entire thing down, it of course acts as a massive step, and just like the regular Silverado, you're getting that handle there, so climbing up into the bed is made that much easier. Now that we're in the bed, we can talk about a few of the features here. So we do have LED bed lighting, that's always appreciated. On our truck today, we have a soft roll-up tonneau cover, but of course this bed would accommodate any kind of tonneau cover you want. And then another crucial part, especially of electric trucks, is how much power they can actually offload or put out there into your electronics or whatever you happen to be running. So right down here, we have a bank of switches. You can see max 2.4 kilowatts. The real cool one is right here. That's a 240 volt plug, max 7.2 kilowatts. So you can run something serious on there, say a welder, something like that. So I'll hop out now, we put the gate back up. The other question you're gonna have is towing. Max towing on this truck as it sits is 10,000 pounds. Standard 2-inch hitch receiver. It's a little far under the bumper for my taste. I wish it stuck out a little further so it's a little easier to get to. But yes, you can pull 10,000 pounds with this truck. And when we do the full review, we will be towing. So make sure you come back so I can tell you how it feels with a trailer on the back. For now, let's jump inside and let me demo the Midgate for you. Now we will look at the Midgate, but first I gotta climb in and just see how big it is back here. So on paper, this is just over 43 inches of legroom, and it is massive. This is my driving position, so this seat is actually pushed back quite far. And I mean, this is ridiculous how much space I have here. Headroom, no problem whatsoever. I stand at 6'2". So yeah, space in this rear is really, really good. Full-size adults, you're never gonna have a problem back here. But now let me show you the real trick of the Silverado EV. So first step, and one of the things I really like, this is a nod to someone really paying attention. You take your seatbelt and you tuck it in this little hole right here, this little slot, so then it's out of the way when you're working on this Midgate conversion. So step one, we're gonna pop these seat bottoms up. Exactly. And then step two, there's a little strap right over here. You grab that and the seat backs fold forward. Now next up, I'm gonna climb in here and we're gonna release the rear glass. So there's a latch on both sides and that will now fall forward. You'll notice though, they put this in here so it won't fall all the way out. And this is important if you are by yourself so that you're not gonna be having to catch your glass. So then you take the glass out and it slots in right down here. It has a nice soft pad behind it. Beautiful. You see that latch is down. There's a little latch on this side, little latch on that side. And now our glass is in place. And then finally, should be able to hit this button and the entire Midgate folds down. And look at that, now we have all of this space. And you know, this is really going to be appreciated by someone who hauls some specialty things, but a kayak is the first one that comes to mind. Lumber is an obvious one if you're hauling lengths of lumber. They do have this bar in here too. This is acting as a load stop. So the 10 foot 10 inch number is from this load stop to the rear load stop back there. If you keep your tailgate up though, you're still getting about 9 feet here with the tailgate up. If you have your tonneau cover on, it can be totally sealed up back there. I think this is a great feature. Of course, you lose your passenger space in the back, but you gain so much space for stuff. So yeah, like I said, if you are someone who loves to kayak, who has some particularly long, annoying things, this vehicle is going to be perfect for you. And now I'll do the conversion in reverse, just to see how quick I can do it. Because that's the other thing, it's really not that complicated. Somebody did show me how to do it, but I was only shown one time, and after that, it was all me. Well, gotta get that down in there. Clip, clip. Now the one other thing I should show you as well is once the glass is out, now of course it doesn't want to do it for me, you are actually able to open up just this 60. Right now I don't think it's latched correctly, so it doesn't want to work, but you can open up just the 60, and so then you can keep the 40 seat in use while you're storing long things on this side. And then to finish it off, up, seat bottom, seat bottom. I gotta say, if you're doing that by yourself and you get really good at it, a minute, 2 minutes tops, you're converted back to a sealed up vehicle and you're good to go. This is definitely a cool feature. There's a couple more features I have to mention here as well. First of all, this truck, again, because it's the first edition RST, it's fully loaded. It also gets 4-corner air suspension and rear wheel steering. And once again, come back for that full review where I will tell you exactly how that feels out there on the road. Now, before I leave you, we have to talk about the numbers because I haven't even touched on them yet. This truck, as you see it right here, is going to have a range of 440 miles. The charging capacity is up to 350 kilowatts at a DC fast charger. GM says that's good for 100 miles of range recouped in just 10 minutes of charging. And then for power, yes, it has a max output of 754 horsepower, 0 to 60 in less than 4.5 seconds. All very impressive numbers, but of course they always come down to what is the price. That's always the most important number. So in the United States, this truck is going to sell for $94,500, while back home in Canada, the RST First Edition is going for just over $117,000. So it's not gonna come cheap, but this thing is fully loaded with just about every feature you could ask for. And you know what? We have been having a good day driving it around, and I can't wait to tell you more about it. But for now, I am going to sign off. So go down there in the comments. Let me know what you think of this brand new Chevy Silverado EV. Let me know what you think of all the features you just saw, the midgate, the tailgate, the bed, everything. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next.